Welcome back to Lost Legacies. I'm Matt.
And I'm
Dude.
Sam, a Hidden City Book Company production.
I'm Matt. I forget.
We just did the thing. We just recorded the message for the YouTube thing.
I know.
Ah,
I don't know.
well, you know what? You know who we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're here. We've been here. It's fine.
No, actually, we're recording this episode just a few days after last week's episode, so it's
Mhm.
kind of weird. Like I feel like not a lot has happened. Oh, we went to.
Well, no, we're recording it like a full week.
Is it a full week?
Yeah, it's been a full week.
Jeez, it doesn't feel like it.
Dude, I know. Time is doing a weird thing where it's like it's moving fast, but it's also like really slow.
Yeah, I had to call out of work on Monday.
Yeah, yeah.
And now my week is going so slow. You would think getting that extra day off would make the week go by faster. No.
Nope.
Like I
Mm-mm.
can't believe we're recording this on Wednesday. I can't believe it's only Wednesday.
Yeah.
I in the iconic words of Alpha 5. Ay ay
Yeah,
ay. Ay ay. We went to what was it called? Superhero Con?
yeah, Superhero Con.
Yeah, local Comic-Con-esque thing. We got some hooked up with some free tickets, and it was worth every penny. Yeah, I loved it, man. I had fun.
Yeah, shout out to friend of the show and listener, our cousin,
Yeah, our cousin
Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie.
It was cool. Like we went on a Sunday, so a lot of the big guests were already gone. There was
Yeah.
already a good amount of vendors who had left, but I think also there was a lot less people because it was Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and we also did go like kind of as soon as it opened.
Yeah,
And
by the time we
then
left, there was more people for sure. But it was
yeah,
just nice.
yeah.
We got to kind of go and walk around. Oh, and Dad went with us.
Yeah,
Dad and
yeah,
Kat, so that was
yeah.
nice. I don't know. These last couple of years, I feel like we don't really get to hang out with Dad and go do things, you know. So
Yeah.
that was kind of fun, just to take him to see there. He took a buttload of photos
Oh yeah.
by himself. None of us were in them, so it just looks like he went on his own, enjoying his retirement at Comic
Hey,
Con.
hey, maybe that's what we're gonna do. Like as like our side thing, we're just gonna start positing like dad as like a like an influencer.
Oh well, he's the Lost Legacy correspondent. He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
representing us at Superhero Con.
There you go. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay, so this means we have to get on this merch train. We got to get dad like a Lost Legacy shirt so that whenever he goes out, he can just wear it.
This is Lost Legacy's correspondent.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, there was a podcast there. What was it called? Con Culture Podcast, I think.
Okay.
I don't know who they are. I don't know if it's any good or not, but they were there, and I'm like, man, we could do that if people listen to our show. That'd be cool. But it was also cool just to see like there were like independent authors. You know,
Yeah.
I always feel bad because like there's no one at their booths. You know,
Mhm.
but like they were there. You know, promoting their stuff, and like that alone is one step further than the majority of people like us. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
True.
I don't know. Like I'm kind of curious, like how to get in. Obviously, you got like apply and pay the fees and all that stuff. I'm just kind of curious what that is. What about the con that you're going to with Mickey coming up?
Yeah, yeah. So Team Kietz Colts will be in Dallas in the month of July. I want to say it's going to be July 20th for Latino Comic Con. It's a 1 day con. I believe the doors open like at 10. So it's like 10 to 6.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so it really big deal for us because it'll be the first time our creative team are in the same location, all three of us for the first time.
Man.
Yeah, because we've only been meeting each other over like Zoom or
Hmm.
Facebook Messenger, so yeah, that's gonna be pretty exciting. But yeah, we're gonna have comics. We'll have the first 2 issues
Nice.
available for you to buy. Anna, our wonderful artist Anna, is taking a break from doing some pages on the comic to design and make more merch. So she's gonna have
Mm,
stickers. We're gonna have these little like keychain things. It's gonna be great. So if there are any locals who are listening to this, first of all, hi. Second of all, yeah, I'll be in Dallas on July 20th. Come to our table. Come say hi.
nice. What's that? A Saturday?
That's a Saturday.
July 20th is Saturday. Okay.
July 20th. Yeah, and I'll try and give more updates as they come. That's kind of like the biggest thing though
Mhm.
right now. So yeah.
That's cool, man. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I the main thing I was kind of disappointed about this weekend was that there wasn't a lot of like a D&D presence. And I don't know if that's just because it was Sunday and a lot of people were gone, or
Mhm.
that's because it's a local show or con. Like I don't know.
There were like two different vendors who were doing like D&D specific stuff, like who had like the dice
Yeah.
setups. But yeah, like on the whole there wasn't a whole lot of like you said, there wasn't a whole lot of like D&D presence. I wonder if that was because it's Sunday, or it could just be like it's sort of like the specifics of the con. This is like
Mm.
superhero. I don't
Oh,
I,
that's true. I don't
like I
know.
don't it didn't really sound like it was themed like too much, because like it's Comic-Con. Like Comic-Con encompasses a whole bunch of different stuff, and
That's true.
you get the same, kind of like, yeah, different local authors at the normal
Yeah.
Comic-Cons anyway. So but yeah, maybe it was just that.
Maybe. I don't know. Hmm. And I don't know. I'm thinking about there's another one in October that's like a sci-fi themed one.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
the slow day, like the cheap day is $70. So I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I still kind of want to go because like the best part is just walking the floor, all the
Yeah.
different vendors, and like this time I bought stickers. That was it. I wanted to buy something. Oh, I
Yeah.
bought a pop figure of Henry Jones Sr., played by Sean Connery. I haven't
Yep.
bought a Funko Pop in a long time.
Yeah.
That was it. I just wanted something, when you're surrounded like in the geek culture like that. I want to take a piece back home with me.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we saw a couple of Lost pops.
Yeah.
Um, I think Hurley,
We saw Hurley and
Kate,
Sawyer. Oh,
Sawyer, a
and
couple
Kate.
characters you haven't met yet.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know
Um,
who the I know nothing of a Man in Black.
yeah,
Um,
we'll just have to keep watching.
I guess so.
But speaking of Lost, I had a dream last night that Hurley and myself
Oh.
were trapped in a gas station while a T-Rex was hunting us. Dude, and like it's one of those weird like dream logics cuz like it's a T-Rex,
Hmm.
but when he would go inside, he would still fit, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
like the Raptors, he was going up and down the
The
aisles as we're
aisles.
hiding,
Yeah.
and like it was such a bizarre feeling because like I love Hurley to death, but I got this kind of feeling where he's like, dude, if it's between me and you, like, I'm gonna save myself. I'm like, Hurley, no, we gotta stick together. And it was in the middle
Wow.
of like a desert, like it was so bizarre.
Wow.
So I was like,
Hey, honestly, this sounds like a pretty cool movie in itself.
when I woke up, I was like, I should text Sam, and I was like, no, I'll save it for the podcast for content.
For content,
Uh
yeah.
huh. That's right.
Everything is content,
Everything is
apparently.
content. Speaking of content, let's get into this week's episode. We're talking about Lost Season 5, Episode 5. This place is death.
What a title.
Oh, I know. Oh, and then when they say it, when she says it in the episode, I was like, oh, she said it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why it's called that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer do the write-ups because I kind of like coming up with them on the spot. This place is death. What was this episode about, Sam? Russo goes crazy.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
We already knew that.
Uh-huh.
Locke solidifies his role as the island's protector,
Mm-hmm.
and Charlotte has her mind blown.
Wow, that's pretty dark.
Yeah, let's get into it, dude. How'd you feel about this one?
This one was good. I was upset when it ended because I was like, what? No, we're just getting into it. Why?
Yeah.
No, like I want, like, I don't care that this was a show that came out almost 20 years ago, on basic, what, like basic cable,
Yeah, basic cable.
on basic cable. I need to go back in time and I need like hour and a half long episodes. That's what I need.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no. I don't know. It's kind of one of the things I'm enjoying about watching this. Like, they're not an hour and a half. They're like 45-minute episodes, the way it used to be, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when it is longer, those are the the season finales. It's like
Yeah.
an event. Like, oh, this is like a two-part episode in one,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I miss that, you know.
It it is a thing that I feel like we've lost. I feel like the closest we've come to that, and especially like on such a level of Lost, I feel like the closest we've come to that was Stranger Things this past season.
There was nothing like that. Oh,
Well, no,
it was like the
well,
event. I guess like what you're is that what you're saying? Like the season
yeah,
finale?
yeah.
Yeah, like one episode was like 50 minutes, the next was 60. The finale was like,
It was like 2 hours.
yeah, it was like a 2 hour finale. It was a film. I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Yeah, and like that's cool, that's exciting, but I kind of miss the simplicity of it.
No, I agree. I'm just saying that, like, to to differentiate, or to make it seem
And
similar.
I really like last season of Stranger Things.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want them to like sacrifice their vision of the finale by cutting it down or splitting it into two parts. You know,
yeah,
if
yeah,
that's how you see your chapter, go for it.
yeah,
It's just we've talked about this before. Giving your artists constraints has benefits because it forces them to I don't know, think harder, write better.
hmm,
Like if you're just given whatever you want, you're just gonna make whatever you want, and it's probably gonna suck.
yeah,
Like there has to be something that challenges you as an artist to actually get the good juices flowing, you know? And I think you see that a lot in Lost.
hmm,
Um, so I think that's something that's kind of we forget about because we always say like, what if Lost was made today? It would be shorter. It would probably be 10 episode seasons, maybe
hmm.
12.
They'd probably would have canceled it after the first season.
If it's Netflix for sure. But
Hmm,
but you see, and that's the thing too. Like Lost came out of nowhere and it was a huge success.
hmm.
So who knows? Maybe it would have. And then they're like, give us more, give us a million. You know, we want 10 seasons, which is what happened in real life. They're like, we want 10 years.
Yeah,
But I think the shorter seasons would mean less of the character stuff. And I just feel like that, like in the case of Lost, that's what really helped the show fly because they had these 20 plus episode seasons and it's like we have to fill time. What are we going to do? They're like, okay, we're going to do this and this and this. Oh, the studios don't want us to reveal too much too fast because they want us on air for 10 years. Oh, crap. So they
hmm,
had to actually reveal even less than they originally wanted,
yeah,
you know? So that right there, I don't agree with, but we ended up getting what we got, and like I really enjoy it. It's one of those weird things coming from an artist, but like don't give artists everything they want. Just give them the tools they need to succeed.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
challenge them a bit. Because I also feel like that's where a lot of that character stuff came from. They're like, we got to fill 24 episodes this year.
yeah,
We have to make this about a character.
yeah.
We can't do the smoke monster every episode. So, speaking of
Yeah,
which, although we didn't see him, he came back this episode.
we saw him.
Oh, yeah, we did see him real quick. Oh, no, a lot of
He's there
quick.
for a while.
Yeah, because he
Yeah,
pulls that douchebag down into the
yeah.
hole. Yeah, that was cool. All right,
Yeah, he
Smokey.
he even like slithers like a snake through the jungle foliage,
Oh,
and
and
you're
then
like,
he rips the
"Ooh,
guys. He doesn't rip the guy's arm off. He rips the body off the arm. I
Yeah, yeah,
was like, oh, dude.
yeah, crazy.
That was cool. It reminds me of that scene from Underwater.
Hmm. Yeah,
Now, do you think he survived down
no,
there? Because they all go in after him.
they go the two other dudes go in after him.
The three, all
Or
three
no,
of them.
the three other dudes go in after him. Um, no, he's dead.
So is that what got them sick?
Yes, 100%, 100%. It's gotta
Oh,
be.
yeah.
It's
Interesting.
gotta be, dude.
We were talking last week how this season has primarily been like ensemble, but this episode was really like a Jin episode for most of it.
Hmm.
It wasn't until like the last act, maybe, where it kind of turned more into a Locke story.
Hmm.
But for the most part, like Jin was the lead, and I loved it. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, man, this is cool. And now I'm kind of thinking because you would think Danielle would recognize Jin now, in the future.
Hmm.
Speaking of which, it's only 16 years. I think that's what they mentioned.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
She
yeah.
was there 16 years.
Man, life was
Then
rough for
yeah, it was rough
Danielle.
on her, man. It aged her a
Yeah.
bit. Oh man.
Hey, but I mean, if you had to shoot the love of your life, because they were crazy, if
That
they were
sucked, man.
infected.
Yeah, because he pulled the gun on her and was like, nope.
Hmm.
Oh, she pulled the Saeed, right? She gave him the gun that wasn't loaded.
Well, I don't know. We didn't see that specifically.
He pulled the trigger and nothing
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, but we didn't see her give him the gun.
That's true, but we saw her do that to Saeed in season one. So that kind
Mm.
of leads me to assume that she did.
Okay. Okay.
That was like her plan B,
I'll agree with that then.
especially because she's doing it to protect her baby.
Hmm.
When that happened, I was like, oh, nice, nice.
Hmm.
I got snap a little for Russo. It's damn good. Like Jin came back as like the surprise twist last episode. So
Hmm.
as being his first full episode, it was really cool to get a big chunk of the episode of his.
Yeah.
Um, it was cool. Like when we hear Sawyer's voice, I'm like, oh, you don't see him, but you hear his voice. He's like, put your hands up. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, they're
Yeah.
together. You're like, yes,
Such a
it
sigh of
made it.
relief. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
I was like, dude, it's so good. I love seeing them together. And then instantly, like, Jin regrets it. He's like, no. He's like, we can't bring Sun back here. He's like,
Yeah,
oh, damn it.
man.
Yeah.
And he gave Locke his ring. He gave Locke his wedding ring just to,
Yeah.
just to tell Son that he's dead. Don't come back to the island. Oh, because also he doesn't know that she's already had the baby.
Yeah.
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 Well, I guess like by their that okay. See, this raises an interesting thing. How far behind is everybody on the island in relation to everybody off island?
Well, it's been 3 years.
Well, okay, it's
Well,
been
okay. Well, like for TV show wise, there's a 3 year gap.
yeah, yeah.
But in their stories, like, is time going at the same pace?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying because I'm assuming that like Jin is thinking that Sun is still pregnant.
But at the same time, yeah, I'm thinking that too. It's only been a few days for the ones on the island. Have they
Yeah.
even got a chance to rest? Like
No,
they've just
probably
been
no.
flashing through time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah,
Now,
because he was asking what happened to the boat. He's like, what happened to Sun?
yeah. Do you remember what episode was it when we see Ben? Because Ben's the one who turns the wheel at the end of season four, right? That's what causes the
Yeah,
island to change.
yeah.
Where does he go after that? Oh,
He
we
go.
saw that
He's in the
earlier in the
desert.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we didn't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I remember that point, there was like a time jump for Ben
Hmm.
because I don't remember where he was. He was like in the Middle East or something, right?
Yeah.
And he finds out it's been almost a year. Well, maybe not from him, but I remember listening to it. It was almost a year from the initial crash.
Okay.
So
Okay.
maybe it's been like 6 months. I don't remember how long they've been on the island.
Okay.
I want to say it's like 4 months because season four, the episode, because I'm a dork and I follow all the timelines and stuff, the episode where Desmond and Penny talk on the phone, I
Hmm.
believe that's Christmas Day. Christmas Day or
Mm.
Christmas Eve, something like that.
Yeah.
They never say it, but it's all the context clues if you look at the calendars and stuff.
Hmm.
So they were there for roughly 4 months.
Okay.
October, November, December. Okay, like
It,
3.5 months.
it's also Christmas in London where Penny is talking on the phone.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There's a yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ben jumped anywhere between 6 months, 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
Oh yes, because I'm trying to remember. Oh man, and this isn't season five stuff. This is all season four stuff we're talking about. Because at the same
Hmm.
time, we were mentioning Son's baby. I don't know, man. This is crazy. So what we've seen, there was about a 6 to 9 months time jump from Ben going to the island to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if there's a time jump for Locke.
Oh, that's a good point.
Now, what they're saying, because they're saying, oh, did you, before we find out it's Locke, they're like, Jeremy Bentham, oh, he's dead, he's dead. Did you know he was here? He's like, he reached out to me a year ago. And they've been off island for 3 years.
Yeah.
So at some point,
We're
he
gonna
gets
ha-
he
we're
gets
gonna have to
back.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really wild because we're seeing what's happening to the people on the island, and then everyone off island is trying to get back. And now you have a character that's trying to get off and we know makes it back at some point.
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, we're gonna start getting more flashbacks now with the Oceanic Six off the island.
Hmm.
So I think we're not done with this post island timeline. We're gonna start filling in more of the gaps now.
Yeah.
This is fun time travel. I
Is it
don't want
though?
to. Well, maybe not. It's fun to watch. You know?
This is fun to watch, but I feel like to experience this kind of time travel is also not great. Charlotte
Yeah.
is a great example of that.
Oh, and that goes into a whole bunch of other stuff. It's like, okay, is it really the time travel, or is it just the fact that they're time traveling on the island? Okay, but in your defense, we find out that that person, what she was like Faraday's assistant or whatever.
Hmm.
Remember, she had like a brain something, and
Hmm.
she's now like a vegetable, and Charles Widmore's paying all her medical bills.
Hmm.
All right, so maybe time travel does suck.
Well, yeah, dude, because even in the Desmond episode in season 3 where he talks to Penny, it's the same thing. Like that guy on the boat, he's going through the exact same thing that Charlotte is going through.
Yeah.
Like his like
Oh,
he's
that's
a
true.
he's a little more lucid
Uh huh.
because he's able to tell them, like what's wrong with him.
Hmm.
But that's what all the crew is saying, that like he keeps having conversations with people who aren't there. And then Faraday's old assistant, she's also having conversations, and we pick up that like she's talking, her mind is jumping through time,
Yeah.
and that's what's happening with Charlotte in this
You
episode.
see, this is crazy because their minds are jumping through time. Same thing with Desmond, which is why you need the constant. But now this crew, they're physically jumping through time
Hmm.
as well. And at this point, it's caught up to them because like everyone's noses are bleeding now.
Hmm.
But Charlotte tells Dan she grew up on this island. She was raised here and she moved back, and her mom tried to tell her it didn't exist. That's why she became an archaeologist so she can get back, yada yada. And she saw a crazy man who told her no matter what, she can't return. If she comes back, she will die. She's like, I think that crazy man was you, Dan. I was like,
Hmm.
oh,
Hmm.
crap. And we see Dan in the past in the episode one, in the cold open of the season.
Yeah.
So Faraday's going back to the past at some point, which also leads to the question, okay, if Locke has quote unquote fixed things, where are they right now?
And that's the thing too. Like Locke isn't necessarily fixing everything. He's just trying to fix the island.
Yeah, and you know, everyone keeps saying he runs into an old familiar face in the caves. Did you see that coming?
I had a feeling. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be
I
this
didn't.
guy, Christian
I've
Shepherd.
seen the show
You
before, and I'm like, who the hell's coming? I was like, oh,
why cast somebody new when they can just bring back
yeah.
a day player? You
Oh,
know?
okay. And I want to say this because last episode we were talking about how it's been a couple months because we stopped watching season 5 like back in November. Sam, I was wrong. I went back on our podcast to look at when we finished or when we got up to episode 3 of season 5. That premiered last July.
Oh dang!
It's been almost a year since we've watched this show. So that
Damn.
was a significant time gap for us watching this. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, dude, I haven't seen Christian Shepherd in over a year since season 4. So when he popped out, I was like, ah, ah, it's Jack's dad. Or is it?
I mean, kind of.
He even says, what? Bring my son back or whatever?
No, say hi to my son.
Say hi to my son. Who's your son?
It's like,
Dude.
use your headlock.
I just
Do you need to be told everything?
right.
Like, just use your context clues.
I like the way Christian was written. It's just like I told you to move the island. You know,
Yeah.
he's like Ben said he knew the way. He's like, when has listening to him what like it brought you anything other than trouble? I'm like, oh, good point, good
Uh-huh.
point.
Uh-huh.
And then he tells Locke what to do, and he's like, can you help me? No.
No.
I was like, oh, like I love how whatever he is, it's written so well. You know, it's like there's enough of him in there that you can recognize Christian Shepherd. Like it's not just his body, like kind of his attitude, you know, is still there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also these little hints of like the other, you know,
Mhm.
like there's something more, like that our favorite line from "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" The law is a human institution. They never get into it. They never explain it. But that line alone, you're like, oh, this guy's the devil, right? He's got to be
Yeah.
the devil, you
Yeah.
know? So I like how Lost is definitely like hinting and the way they're flavoring things. It's just saying like, there's something more to this. This isn't simply like a ghost of Christian Shepherd. It's something more than that.
Yeah.
Like,
It is this entity that is wearing Christian Shepherd's skin
mm-hmm.
while also embodying sort of like his id, like just that psychological part of the brain that's just like your base under your consciousness. It's
Yeah.
like it's weird and it's creepy, but he's so good at playing weird and creepy that you're just like, yeah.
There's something
you know?
almost like kind of Lovecraftian about it.
Definitely.
Like it's not saying that like Christian Shepherd was dead before this whole show started, but like so it's not necessarily like this thing killed him and then like is pretending to be him. It's like in a way it almost becomes him.
Mhm.
And like you have to question like is it just Christian, like an imprint of Christian Shepherd on this entity, or is it in some way bringing Christian Shepherd back? Like it's like feeding off of him or something, you know? It's just whatever it is, it's creepy and it's weird, and I love it. I love it. So, man, awesome. This got to be like a fun role, you know?
I think
Like,
so, yeah.
Because you look at some of the characters who, like, we talked about those early seasons where, like, Sun and Jin are kind of just in the background for most of the seasons. And then when they actually get something good to do, it's really good.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you have Christian Shepherd, who is for a while he's kind of just cameos. He's just kind of showing up here and there. But like the fact that he keeps showing up here and there, like it starts to build more of this kind of mythology. And now
Mm-hmm.
we're at this weird place where it's just like, who is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
As an actor, I just love that. I love that concept.
Shout out Michael Emerson.
Oh yeah, man, he's good. It was cool to kind of see Ben snap a little bit.
Yeah. 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 Especially like, I get it from like Son's perspective, like this man is responsible for a good portion of our woes, pretty
Yeah.
sure you also killed my husband. But I mean, Jack is Jack is and I say this with love. Jack is just a snivelly little weasel right now.
Hmm.
He's trying to play the big man. He's trying to play
Yeah.
like slip back into the role that he had on the island.
Hmm.
He's trying to be the leader, and he's just not that guy. you
Hmm.
know and they're talking over here as if Ben isn't right there driving
He's
them to the
he doesn't have that
destination.
dog in him anymore.
He doesn't have that dog in him because nobody knows where the dog is.
I know.
Where the hell is Vincent?
Lost in time. He's a time
Lost in
dog now.
time dog.
Like
I want
Gretchen in Dark.
Oh gosh, I want his adventures. They probably met up.
Probably.
Yeah, Gretchen and Vincent. I want
Hmm.
I want that series.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was nice to like get back to Ben, being that formidable foe and
Yeah.
say just like, if you want to do this, then I'm right here. Shoot me now and get it over with.
Hmm.
Or do you want to come with me?
Hmm.
And he doesn't even acknowledge Jack. He's just like, no, like to hell with that.
Hmm.
Like Son has the gun.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna shoot me, then do it now. Otherwise, let's just keep going.
Yeah. And then once they get to the church, he straight up pulls out Jin's wedding ring. And like,
Mm-hmm.
oh damn it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Locke had this on him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know why he didn't give it to you. Which sucks because in the episode, like, Jin tells Locke, no matter what, don't bring Sun back. And everything and everyone has been telling Locke, you have to bring everyone back. And he even tells Jin, I won't go after her, but if she seeks me out, what do I tell her? He's like, tell her I'm dead. And Jin gives Locke the wedding ring. Tell
Mm-hmm.
her I washed ashore. So now we know Locke never did. Sun says something, so I'm assuming Sun talked to Locke at some point.
I think I I think
They kind of hinted at that, right?
yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't know if he
think
talked to everyone of the six.
I think he did because everybody knows who Jeremy Bentham is,
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
you know?
Yeah,
So yeah, it's like, and that I mean that's Locke's whole mission. Locke's whole mission in whatever future storyline we're gonna get
yeah,
is to get everybody back. So yeah, he's talked to all of these people,
yeah.
you know.
I
It's just kind of weird that it's only the six and not people
everyone
like
else like Widmore and
yeah, Desmond
Desmond. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or Michael's kid.
Walt.
Walt, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know?
Well, I think it's because I think maybe it has to do with the fact that they moved the island.
Yeah.
Like
Probably, yeah.
like those were the ones who quote unquote left when the island got moved.
Hmm.
In a way, they got left behind,
Hmm.
you know? So I think that has more to do with it. All I know, man, it was a great episode. It was fun. Things are really coming to a head now.
Hmm.
They meet Eloise at the end, the
Hmm.
old weird creepy time lady.
Who turns out to be Faraday's mom.
Uh-huh. Oh, and they get to the church and Desmond's there. He's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm
Hmm.
like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Dude, this is brilliant." Jeez. So I went through my notes. We already mentioned everything in there. So MVPs.
Let's see. No, this Jin. Jin's my MVP.
Yeah, I think so too. Daniel Day Kim, man. It just seemed like he was able to have fun with this, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, it was it was nice to see him as like you said, like as the lead for a little bit, and
Hmm.
then also just to like just to like get to play around like different people,
Right.
having to like be one as an actor. I think it's really a really cool thing to be like, okay, you're traveling through time,
Hmm.
one of these people.
Hmm.
How we don't really know how familiar Jin is with Rousseau's story. We just
Yeah.
know that he knows of Rousseau,
Yeah.
so then it's like, okay, cool. But then to also have to like play like kind of dumb, not mentioning like everything. I
Yeah.
thought I thought it was really cool that the jerk guy was just like, helicopter, what? Soon he's going to be talking about a submarine.
Hmm.
And I'm like,
Hmm.
hmm,
Hmm.
hmm. But yeah, but so to have all that, to like have this sort of, he doesn't have the perspective that we as the audience have. He just has his character's perspective, and his character understands very little of what's happening, to the point where he's like, oh yeah, I have to get to my camp, because he still thinks his camp is there.
Yeah.
Like he's still doing that, and to do that in another language while listening to other people in another language. It's like, it's so like that. Yeah, that's got to be so challenging and then just fun,
Yeah.
you know. And he gets to be like, monster,
Hmm. Hmm.
run.
It's also a great way to tell that story of Danielle and her team, but without having to repeat what we've already been through. So you put Jin, a character who's familiar with that, and you kind of put it through his perspective.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. 5 episodes into season 5. What's your predictions?
Uh, I was thinking about this a couple of minutes ago, because I'm like, man, I'm gonna hate it so much, but I'm already predicting that Jack is gonna have a hard time believing Jeremy Bentham, quote unquote, Locke, when he says that the island is like traveling through time. I can just see Jack's smug face being like, time travel, the island, time
Mm-hmm.
traveling. Really, John? Like, oh, shut up,
Mm-hmm.
Jack. That's
Mm-hmm.
my prediction. Jack's gonna have a shut up, Jack moment. Um, uh, yeah, I don't. I really do think it's gonna take some heavy coercion to get Kate on board.
Mm-hmm.
Sawyer and Juliet
Question mark?
as an item?
Maybe.
Question mark. I don't know. I don't know. It just kind of feels. I'm seeing the vibes. I'm seeing them. I'm like,
They're such great like foils for each other. Like
yeah, yeah,
in a different way, because like Sawyer and Kate are in a lot of ways the same. And I think that's where
yes,
a lot of that attraction comes from. Whereas Juliet and Sawyer, there's a lot of a big difference between the two. But I think that's also why it kind of works. It's like they're two halves of two different halves, but they make a whole, you know?
hmm,
Um, in a way, in a big way, Juliet's a lot more mature than Kate. And
oh, for sure.
I think that's something. I don't know the context completely of Sawyer's love life, other than Kate and then that one lady he got pregnant.
Hmm.
But especially compared to Kate, like Juliet's a lot more mature, and it's a different type of foil to Sawyer. It's like Juliet makes sense, and she knows what she's talking about, and I'm like,
Hmm.
it's just I don't know, it's different. Like she want Kate will fight you for whatever she believes. Juliet will like break it down and explain it. Juliet doesn't fight you. She
Hmm.
explains why you're wrong.
Yeah,
And I'm like, yeah, there's something really cool about that. That's and I like that because she's the doctor, and that's not something we really get from Jack.
yeah,
All right. Well, those are some good predictions. Let's see. Next week, we're talking about Lost, season 5, episode 6, 316. The journey back to the island begins. But what about everyone who doesn't want to come?
Ooh. Yeah, that's good. You're getting real good at that.
Thank you. Well, that was good, man. I think that was a much better episode of Lost Legacies than last week's. That's for damn sure.
I'm sorry, what lost episode last week? We were into the Marvel
We
verse
talked
last
about
week.
everything other than Lost last week.
Oh
But
man,
it's kind
yeah.
of like I said, like this episode, we had already seen that one, even though it was
Yeah.
a year ago. But like it was
It,
just there's nothing new because we had seen it before.
yeah, yeah. And again, like it was a weird like in between point, it's like we're seeing the machinations of the first 3 episodes,
Yeah,
and it's about to ramp up in the next like series of episodes. Like it's a weird like in between. It really is almost like a filler where
kind
not a
of.
lot happens. Um but yeah, like last week was the perfect episode to do that with.
We didn't talk about Charlotte. Well, I mean, we kind of did, but another one down. Lost
Oh yeah.
another survivor.
Mhm.
Um,
Is she really a survivor though?
Not really, but she was one of the main cast for a hot second.
Yeah, and the first of the Fantastic Four to go down.
Out of the four, I feel like she's the one we know the least about.
It's like her and Miles.
I think
Yeah.
at this point, after this episode, we learned a little more about her because we learned about her. We have confirmation she was born on this island, or she was
Mhm.
raised here at least. Miles, we still don't know anything about him, really. But at least he's been doing stuff. His talking to dead people is giving him different insights and different moments. Even if we don't really know what's up with that, he's been doing stuff. Charlotte's kind of just been hanging out this whole time.
Yeah.
And like, which sucks because like I was always like, man, this is like the Tomb Raider character. She's the badass archaeologist. She knows all these languages, but they just never gave her anything to really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it just sucks that like she's the one to go. Like
Yeah, especially like, you know, they kind of made it sort of a big deal. Like these four people are sticking around. Like these four people are going to be part of the cast now.
yeah,
You
it was a big
know,
deal when they showed up.
yeah, it was a big deal, and it kind of felt like it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then it just sort of feels like Frank's off island. You
Yeah,
know,
Frank's gone.
Frank's gone. And then we had the other three kind of just like time hopping going on this little adventure. But I guess it's the nature of telling your story in this way
Mm-hmm.
is that like, okay, like I don't think there's going to be a lot of room to get character centric episodes or moments the way we used to do it
Mm-hmm.
while we're doing this time hopping adventure. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's like whatever we have about these three, we kind of just have to infer from how they react to the different situations.
And I think we mentioned that last season because of the strike, it was a much shorter season. I
Yeah.
really do think like we're missing a Daniel episode somewhere. I'm pretty sure he would have got another flashback.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't a Daniel centric episode, I still think there was more flashbacks. Because the flashbacks we got of him were weird. Like, and we do know he has a lot of memory issues.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, so what's the cause of that?
I've got it. I've got it. It would have been, and this is why they didn't do it, because it would have been super controversial for the Lost fandom. But it would have been like, it's Faraday's episode. He's figuring out time travel. He figures out like some stuff that's like, whoa, like this is gonna come in handy later. But he clocks out of the university. He goes home. He gets himself a couple, like a beer or something, and he turns on the TV and he's watching an episode of a trashy TV show that stars Nikki and Paolo. And it's so bad. And he hates it so much. And he feels so bad that by the end of it, he just gets blackout drunk. And he just destroys his apartment, burns all the notes, And then in the morning he wakes up and he's like, I don't know what happened. I'm mysterious. I have a really cool voice now because of the drinking. But yeah, what happened? And that's it. And that's why he didn't get it. Uh,
Yeah.
so so actually the writer's strike saved us from an episode that probably would have been worse than Jack's tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, all thanks to Nikki and Pella.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have liked to
The gift that
see.
keeps on giving.
Yeah, I would have liked to see, like, if they had approached those four in the same way they did, like, the other 48 days, like, just give us the past 50 days or whatever at that point they were on the island, but from those four perspective.
That
Like,
would have been interesting.
what's
Yeah.
happening, what's going on. That would have been really
Yeah.
cool.
What here's kind of what I was thinking about. It would have been interesting because I know they were already kind of doing a lot with season 4. You know, it was like, how did these people get off the island? You know, there's only
Hmm.
6 of them. That was the whole thing. Like, who are the 6? Who are the Oceanic 6?
Hmm.
It would have also been interesting if they had done something. I don't know what you would have to cut or if you needed to add more episodes, but it would have been interesting if they had built these 4 characters in sort of a similar way. We've like whatever character centric episodes we get are for these characters, you know, and
Mm.
then, you know, just to sort of like, yeah, just to sort of like flesh them out, you know, be like, we could have a Charlotte centric episode, you know, just to see like, who is she, like what's her
Yeah.
deal, you know,
Yeah.
like why, you know, we that because otherwise we kind of get this moment that I know it's dramatic, but her death does feel kind of stifling because she's having to give so much exposition as she's dying, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
it's like, hey, like we're killing off Charlotte, we gotta tell Daniel some of this some way,
Hmm.
so she's gonna have a long death scene,
Hmm.
you know. And I feel like
Yeah.
maybe delay, and also because like it sucks, but it's also like I don't really know you, so it's like it sucks that you're
Yeah.
dead,
I
but
mean,
yeah.
that's what I was saying. Like, it was the strike. Like, we lost several hours of the show,
Yeah.
and they ended up paying more money to get it to 14 episodes, 14
Mm,
episodes a season, when it was supposed to be 16. But even by that point, like, they were already filming, so they had already cut down the season. So they're like, okay, here's more money, do a proper season finale or whatever, you know.
yeah. Yeah.
So, because yeah, man, that would have been rough, you know, to have season 4 done in 12 episodes. Um,
Yeah.
but like, if you look at it, if you just go to Wikipedia and like look up those episode descriptions of season 4, like, there was no breathing room. Like, all the Oceanic Six, they got an episode, and
Mm,
then when you count like the 2-part premieres, that's already 7, 8. That's 10 episodes right there.
yeah.
And then Ben got an episode. That's 11. And I think Juliet got an episode.
Mm,
12. So it's like, you already have your season, you know? But considering that it was supposed to be 16 episodes, I'm like, yeah, I wonder what those other 4 episodes were,
yeah.
you know? And then, of course, we ended up getting 14 in total. But like, I agree. Like, there should have, I think they originally intended the Fantastic Four to have a bigger role, especially because a lot of season 4 they were sidelined. They played a big part in like the first half, and then they kind of just like sidelined.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. I feel like they would have made it a bigger deal that Charlotte was originally from the island, and it probably would have been revealed earlier
Hmm.
before her death. But uh, I don't know. Stupid writer strikes. We understand why the writer strike happened, you know?
Yes.
So it's a good writer strike. So this is really on the studios. It's the studio's fault.
Yeah, yeah. A point that I didn't get to make earlier, but this is sure you can limit, you know, or don't give all of your artists everything, you know, everything in a handbasket all at once,
Yeah.
but freaking pay them what they're worth.
Yeah, pay them for what they're worth. I'm talking about the tools they need to make their thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
That's where they should be challenged a bit.
yeah.
Um,
Not in, you know, wondering if they're going to be able to get groceries this month. All right.
yeah, yeah. Okay, hang on a second. I'm gonna do this right. You can find our YouTube at the Hidden City Book Co. on YouTube. And you can shoot us an email at lostlegaciespodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you want to shoot us a text, there should be a link at the bottom of the description of this podcast somewhere. So you can text us as well. And as always, I'm on Twitter at _MacHimenez and on Instagram at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Reel, that's REEL, Texas Weirdo.
Until next time,
Get
get
lost.
lost.